Hey everybody, this is Pam at the Paper Outpost, and this is the I believe this is the third part of the video we are making from the beginner's guide to making a junk journal from an old book. And guess what? I get to do this audio recording over the top because somehow I lost the sound, so bear with me here. So now we are going to walk through this together, and it's going to be very easy to do. And we are at the point where we are going to go ahead and create the magical hidden spine. This is a great technique if you want to preserve the spine in your book. If you like the way the book spine looks on the outside of the book. See here we have the signatures we have organized and trimmed, and now we are going to create our hidden spine. So this is really cool. We're going to use a piece of cardboard. I'm using a piece of cardboard from I think it was at the back of a drawing book page, book cover, but you can take cereal boxes and double or triple them up so you have a thick enough piece of cardboard, just something with a little stiffness to it, a little thicker than a regular cereal box cover. And then you are going to have the perfect piece of spine material that will be hidden, and we will transform this before your eyes. Now, this cardboard has tooth, and so does the fabric here. It has a rough surface on the cardboard and a rough surface on the fabric, and together they will meld together and grab each other for a very strong hold, and that is how we're going to create our hidden spine. It's an easy process, and it's very fun to preserve that beautiful spine that you might have on an old book. Now, we have to make sure that our cardboard snuggles perfectly inside the spine. This piece is too big, so I'm going to show you how to shave it down. You want it to snuggle in to the left side, butt against the inside cover, but not too tightly. So I'm going to use this pencil here that I have magically produced out of thin air, and I am going to abut to the left. Zoom you in here nice and close so that you can see this. Isn't that wonderful? And we're going to abut it there. Lifting up the front book cover does help you tell if you're in the right spot. Now I'm going to mark where the back cover is, and I'd rather keep it a little wide in the beginning because you can always narrow it up. Much harder to add back in if you cut too much off. So we need this to Goldilocks fit just right. Okay, so I'm going to cut this in front of you here with my craft knife and my handy dandy ruler. Let's see if we can get this all in frame for you. There we go. Who hired this cameraman, huh? Okay, so now I'm going to use my trusty metal ruler and my craft knife. And where is it? Losing, can't find anything. I know the ruler's here somewhere. Okay, I have two rulers just for these particular situations, and they do happen, and they happen often. Okay, here we go. We are aligning that up just maybe barely to the left of the marks that I made. And once we get that all pretty like, I'm going to grab my handy dandy craft knife, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this little piece off. And if you have a nice sharp craft knife, this should cut easily with just several swipes, and you should be through. If your craft knife is a little bit dull, it may take a few more, or just change your craft knife blade. So retract your craft knife. So for safety reasons, you don't want to cut anybody that doesn't need to be cut. Okay, now here I'm testing. This is a little bit too big still. See how the book covers are bowing out? It's causing some pushback. We don't want that. No, we're going to have to go back in and shave off a little bit more. So I'm going to square this up, and I'm going to align it and just shave off a little whistle. I would say this is probably a 1/16 or an 1/8, just a tiny little piece off the side, because I can always take more. And yeah, so here I go again with my magic craft knife. And if you go slow and you always watch your blade, it should be a safe process. Always retract and then throw away the extras. And you could probably use those for something. I was thinking that when I was throwing that away, oh, I could use that for something. But sometimes it's okay to let things go. And also, there we go. Oh, now it fits perfectly. There we have found the perfect size of a spine for our hidden spine. And that's nice and loose. There's no pressure. It feels just right. You'll be able to tell if the book covers kick back on you, then make it a little thinner. And if they fit just right, you will feel it. Okay, so now here we are just assessing how high how far north and how far south we want this piece to lay inside of the book. And I would say bring your hidden spine about 1/4 inch from either end, and that way it will nestle nicely inside the book. Now here I have beautifully, I'm off camera here, but I'm just cutting off the bottom end, and I will suddenly realize that I'm off camera, and I will bring it back in and show you the little piece that I cut off in the magical way that I do. Look at that. See, you didn't see that? That's what I cut off right there. Okay, I knew it was coming. Okay. Like I said, that cameraman, I don't know. Okay, so you want to make sure that your spine, your hidden spine, is not too far north or not too far south, but right in the middle, and it fits comfortably. And now we have this piece of cardboard that looks like cardboard. So we're going to try some fancy tricks here to spruce it up so to make it look not so much like cardboard. Now, you can go ahead and wrap this with paper or fabric or something like that to disguise it, and that's fine. But I'm going to show you doing it just this way because there's not a lot of that particular spine that's going to show. And if we decorate it up a little bit, it's really not necessary to do so. And also the texture of the cardboard grabs the texture of the fabric of the cover spine very well. Now what I'm doing here is I have a sanding block, and I am going through the process of disguising the fact that this is cardboard. First thing I'm doing is softening the, where did I go? Okay, I'm softening the edges with the sanding block, and then I'm coming around with my crocodile corner chomper, which likes to chomp hard, stiff things, thick things. It easily chomps them, or multiple thin things together. It does well. And it rounds the edges of this cardboard, and that makes it look less like a piece of cardboard. Now here I am coming up with my very fancy sanding block and just smoothing down one side of the edges. Don't need to do it on the other side because this is going to lay flush against the back and the inside cover of the book in the spine. So there we go. We're just softening it a little bit. And that's going to also make it better to receive what I'm going to do with it next. It's going to make the little edges a little bit porous and rough, and will absorb what the next process is. And this is actually a lot of fun. I really enjoy decorating the hidden spine, which seems kind of silly because it's a hidden spine, so you really don't see much of it, but there's some joy in it, and you'll see as we go. I'm whipping out a brand new stencil. Look at me go. Hey, have to have an excuse to use this stuff, right? Yes, I went on a stencil purchasing excursion. Well, I mean, me and my computer did. And I ordered a bunch of stuff a while back. So now it's time to pop these babies out of their shell and use them to decorate the bejeebers out of this lovely little hidden spine. And here we go. We're orienting. And what should we grab? Let's see. I have a few ideas. I think I'm going to try one thing first. I'm looking at the colors inside there to see what would complement. And I think at first I'm thinking brown at first. I believe I grab a, nope, look at me. I came back with some gold gilding paste. But then I thought, wait, let me put something else down before I put the gold gilding paste. And I'm off to go get the walnut stain. I'm looking for it right now. I know that's where I've left. Nope, I'm back with the gold paint. Okay, I was trying different things. I know eventually that I do come forward with the walnut stain. And I'm okay. Let's bring it nice and close so you can see this, because this is fun. This is playful. Okay, this is where I'm just giving it a go. All right, here's where I load the finger, and then I suddenly decide, wait, no, here. Yeah, see, am I aborting the mission yet? It's going to happen any second. Oh, the joys of a voiceover. Yeah. And okay, so now I'm lining this all up. Okay, now, oh, that's where I changed my mind right there. Hold on, wait a minute. I've got it on my finger. Let's go and get a different color and completely change the program here. Now there's 1,000,001 ways that you could decorate this thing. But whatever you want to do is keep the rough adherence of it, especially on the back. Just keep it nice and rough, and don't like put anything glossy or shiny or slick on the back because you really want it to grab well. Here's my, this is a makeup paddle brush. They're also found in craft stores. I bought mine originally, I believe, at TJ Maxx, but now you can buy them on Amazon and on Etsy and all sorts of places. And now we're just going through here. Now, I kind of noticed suddenly that I'm putting brown on brown, which wasn't a huge distinction, So I decided to continue with this ridiculousness, and I'll show you a little bit more about what that looks like. But eventually I come around to completely changing my mind on this, and I go for a different color. Yeah, that's right, because I just decided it wasn't enough pizzazz. I went back and took a quick peek of my inner spine fabric and decided there was some better color I would rather work with. It would make this pop a little bit more. So now I'm off ferreting. There you can see me in the reflection of my paddle brush. There I'm back with the black soot. And there we go. Now black soot should show up very nicely because it's more intense. And it just look at that. Yes. Oh yeah, we like that. Oh yes, that's very nice. This was a lot of fun to do, and I love doing it with you guys because it really reminds me of the early days, and it doesn't honestly feel that different now. I mean, I'm just making a journal, grabbing papers, putting them together, gluing, cutting, just trying different things here and there, and it's all fun. It's all fun. Okay, so now I have some black and brown on there, and I think that looks kind of cool and kind of pretty, and that's kind of pretty too. Maybe we'll do something with that one day. Who knows? But we're not done yet. Oh no, we can have a lot of fun with this thing that will barely be seen. Here we go. We're going to now pull out the gold. I'm going to get my stencil out, and I thought I would try stenciling with the gold. I thought this was a grand idea. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to use to stencil the gold with, but I thought, let me try my finger and let's see how well I do. No, it looks not too bad. I'm getting through there. It looks like it's coming through. Looks like it's going to be a big grand success. Yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm hopeful here. There's like angels are singing. Oh, okay, it didn't really come out that great. Okay, so I decided not to do that and just focus on what I normally do. And that is I spend some time gilding around the edges of these because primarily that is what is seen with the hidden spine, your edges. And if you gild an edge, it doesn't look like cardboard anymore. No, that's right. It looks like some wonderful, glorious gilded item that came from probably Europe from many years ago, maybe the Renaissance period, where kings and queens would hand this down to their children and it showed up at stately affairs, I'm sure. And then eventually it made its way to America and is now going to go in this junk journal. That's the story I'm using. And it's actually quite fun to do this part. It's if you like to work with your finger and your hands, I am demonstrating now finger inking. Yes, this is called finger inking. It's quite a handy tool. It's very nice and easy to do with the gilding waste. Gilding waste. It's gilding wax or gilding paste. It goes by both names. And you can find it in Amazon or Etsy or eBay and places like that. This particular company, I don't think they make it anymore, but there's a lot of other companies that do, and it's very handy. And usually once it dries, I'm smudging it, like I just had a little left over on my finger. I thought I might as well use it up while I can right there. And now we have completed this little lovely. And now we are going to clean our hands because this gilding stuff, if you let it dry, it really likes to hang on. It's very blendable when it's moist, but boy, when it dries, forget it. So yeah, you want to get it off your craft mat and stuff like that too. And I do have it all over my craft mat, but there's nothing wrong with a little gilding. So here we go. And why do I make my craft mats always look like a mess? I try so hard, but it's just a well-loved craft mat. All right, Mr. Heartthrobs, where are we taking you now? All right, we're going to assess our positioning, and we are going to lay that down there and decide where we want that to live. Yes, very important. You want to make sure that it's not too high and not too low, and then we are going to place our dots. Now, it doesn't have to be in the perfect position right now because we are just going to be gluing it in. I've decided I'm going to use a black magic marker so you can actually see the dots, but you can make these dots with a pencil. You can painstakingly measure and use a ruler to get all of these if you want to do that, or you can just use a ruler and line it up and kind of guess where the 4 dots would be equally spaced apart. And I think that is the method that I show you here. After a while doing these, you can easily eyeball where dots should go. It's not such a big deal, but you don't want to be too close to either edge, left or right. And you want to be equally spaced as best you can. And you can redot your dot. It's okay because a lot of times the signature papers will cover these dots, so it's no big deal anyway. There we go. So I have a mishmash of many dots, but I'm going to go about halfway down now, guessing where halfway is. You can measure it if you like. And I'm just going to use the old eyeball technique. Well, that looks like that about there. Gonna get that one about there, and then number 4 will plop in right about there. If my dots look too far off, I will realign my dots if needed, but everything is okay. Now I'm gonna slide down to the bottom, and I go in about 1 inch from the bottom up. Okay, now I'm out of shot again. I apologize for that. I think I catch that. Yeah, there we go. And I also noticed that you can get little ink marks on your metal ruler, and that'll help tell you exactly where to put your dots from where you put them up high. Yeah, and if they're too far over, like mine are not well spaced, then you could kind of migrate the dots over a little bit to the left, and just remember that before you start punching. Yep, I'm going to use the ones on the left, I've told myself. And so yeah, about 1 inch down from the top, 1 inch up from the bottom, and then pretty much in the middle if you can figure that out. But these threads are completely hidden, so that measuring of the middle one isn't as critical as if you were going to have the threads exposed on the back of the spine. Okay, so now we grab our 4 signatures that we made last time, and we double check to make sure that our orientation is correct. The pages are the right way. We have them all right side up and looking at us, and that is good. And now we're going to figure out exactly where to put the dots on the back of the signatures. And we want these dots to match where the dots are on the hidden spine. Okay, so we lay down our very ornate and beautiful hidden spine, and we're going to position it right where we want it to be, where we want it to live in the journal, because now it's going to matter. And now we're going to take our 4 signatures. We're going to make sure that all the spines are in line, and I'm going to give you a really cool bird's eye view here. We want to see all those 4 signatures on the back there, and we want them totally lined up top to bottom. Okay, I'm going to grab my marker, and I'm going to show you how I do this with the marker. And I want to make sure that there's a little bit of journal cover below the block of signatures and above the block of signatures. So all the way to the left and all the way to the right, I want to have my signatures recessed inside the journal. I'm going to show you over here so you can see that there is some there. You can see it there. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but there is, the journals are inside the book cover. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, and on that side as well. There it is. I can see the edge of the book cover sticking out. Okay, now put you back. Okay. All right, now come on, work with me. Work with me. Okay. There we go. All right, so now we want to snuggle this block of signatures up to the dots, because I want to make sure I put the marks on the signatures at the correct spot. So they're all together, snuggling them very close. This is where they're going to live in the journal. And now I'm going to come down to this left side, and right where that dot is, right there, I am going to drag my marker up from those, and that's going to put all those dots in the same spot. See, that's how I dragged it up. You can do that with a pencil as well if you prefer to use a pencil, but I wanted to show you with the, and those are going straight up. It looks angled because of the curvature of the camera lens, but they are going straight up from perpendicular. Yep, there you go. So now that we have those, we can breathe a sigh of relief. We've done a major task. Then we have all our dots there. We have all our dots on here, and now we're going to do some punching. All right, now it's very important to know which side is the top. This is the top. Make a mark on, I recommend both sides. It's going to be handy for you to have a little dot on the top of this, on the front and the back of it. And that way, no matter what side you are looking at that thing, you're going to know which side is the top. I'm going to use this black marker to show the dot here, and then one on the back, and you can use pencil, but honestly these rarely show because they're covered by the signature, so you can use a marker too. Okay. And now we put her in place. Oh, I forgot something. Oh, I'm going to get the big tool of tools, the Crop-A-Dile 2 Big Bite. That's right. This is my favorite tool to punch holes in junk journals. And I really like to do that, but there are other tools that you can use. If you don't happen to have a Crop-A-Dile 2 Big Bite, you can use an awl. You can use an ice pick. You can use a pokey tool. That's right. Or you can use a needle. You just have to be very careful whatever you're pushing through, that there's something soft on the other side. Let it not be your knee or your legs, but use a book or styrofoam or some type of material or something like that that will not scratch your counter or your table or hurt your knees. Now I'm going to use this because it has something called the 1/8 hole punch, which is the small one. And then it has a bigger hole punch called the 3/16 all the way to the right. So the 1/8 is in the middle. All the way to the left, this is your eyelet squasher or eyelet setter. And this, I'm going to put in the 1/8. Not all the way to the right, but the one in the middle, 1/8, right. And when you squeeze the handle, that comes down and that's your paper punch, okay? So that's the one we want. That's the one we're working with. Now, I'm going to reorient you a bit so you can come right in here and see what I'm doing. Because everybody says, how do you see where you're punching? I look from the side. That's what I do. I come down here and I'm looking from the side. And I'm going to put that puncher thing down right where my black mark is. And I get that oriented. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to punch all the way, all those black marks, 4 across. And I'm going to do that for 3 rows. And it is very easy to punch through thicker cardboard with this particular tool. So if you have, hands are not that strong, my hands are not super strong, but this gives me the strength of 1,000 men. I can punch through all sorts of things with this. It's pretty amazing. Okay, I'm trying to get closer here so you can actually see the little puncher come down. It's quite exciting. But yeah, it's a great way to do it. And you can turn it around to get the last row. And we'll punch around and through. Another thing I like about using this particular tool is that the holes are big enough so that I can get a big-eyed needle through it. And I like to use big-eyed needles because I'm blind as a bat, and I like to be able to easily thread my needle and get it through here without having to use pliers or something to pull it through the other side. It just sails on through. There's no problem. Life is grand, and we are all happy clams because it's going smoothly. Okay. So now, next comes the riveting part of, tap, tap. We organize everybody. And what you want to do, we're looking at these from front to back. This is my front. That's my side. This is the back. This is the last signature. I want to put that one in first. That's right. We always start from the back. It's a thing. I don't know why. We just do. Paper clip your babies down. It's a good idea to hold them all in place. Make sure they're all tucked in close and tight together. You have your dots. I like to fold it back a little bit upon itself, like fold it the other way because it makes it easier for the crocodile too big bite to land on the dot. If there's a little teepee there, it's hard. It can kind of slide around a bit, so I tend to fold it back a little bit, and I'll do that in the next few ones. For some reason, I didn't do on this first one, but I'll show you as we go. It does make it easier because everybody asks me, why do you fold it the other way? And that's why. It helps guide that puncher right to the dot. It's in its own little valley then, and it's a good and happy place for that puncher to punch. Okay, whoop, passed out. All right, so that is signature number 4. All right, so at this point, you can see that my 2 upper dots, or holes, are closer together than my bottom one. It's fine because this is all hidden, so it doesn't really matter. But you can also use that as a clue to yourself that that's the top, and the bottom one, which is far away, is the bottom. If you ever take the paper clip off and you forget, that's like a little secret thing that I do for myself. It's not necessary. You can also just write T with a piece of, a pencil or something, and then just erase it after. Now I'm going to use some waxed thread. I don't know if it's waxed linen or waxed cotton thread, but it's bookbinding thread, and you can get it anywhere on Amazon or eBay. And also, it has a very strong tensile strength, and it with the waxing, it doesn't tend to tear your papers as much. It kind of slides along them, and that's a good thing. It also ties knots very well, very tightly, and very securely. All right, so how much thread do you need? Think 3. You need 3 lengths or heights of your signature, and that'll give you plenty to work with a nice, decent tail in case you want to do any extra, charm dangling or anything from it. So 3 will give you plenty to work with. So I'm going to measure all of these out now. So I'll have that done. And it's always more efficient if you only pick things up once. So I'm only picking up the thread once, and I'm measuring out all the strings at one time. And that will help with a little bit of efficiency and speed as you go. So if you can remember that when you're crafting, if you can, oh, look what I produced. I produced my little pin, and I made that. I'm showing you how proud I am that I made that, because like sewing skills are horrible. But it was very fun. Out of torn fabric, I made this little bowl. And okay, so here is one of my giant-eyed needles. Actually, here's two of them. They're very blunt-ended. They're either darning or yarn needles, or even raffia needles, you will hear them called. But they're very big needles, and they're very comfortable to work with. And I love them because I, like a blind squirrel, can thread a needle with this needle. Hello, my name is Pam the Squirrel. And this, you know, if you, hang on, no, not now. Sorry. So if you do want to use one of these little, a regular needle, you can just put one of these through. And I'm just showing this in case somebody on the earth does not know how to work one of those things. You just put the thread through there, you pull, and then voila, you have threaded your needle. So if you have a smaller needle, that's how you would thread it. Just wanted to put that out there in case anybody did not know how to do that. Okay. So now I'm showing you the distance between my holes. This is my little secret trick of how I tell the top from the bottom. And it's also because I don't measure, they never actually come out perfect. So that's the way it is. But it's okay because you won't see those. They're all hidden, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Now, in we go. Well, they aren't hidden on the inside, that is true. So if you have, you know, issues with it, then you measure it, but it's fine. It does the same purpose. All right, so there, we're just looking at that for some reason. And now we have this. This is what we really wanted. Yes, because we are actually going to be sewing into this. This is our hidden spine. This is hole number 4, hole number 4. Okay, so we're going to go through the middle and then go through the middle hole number 4. Okay, see that? Holes are counted from left to right, so we're doing the last signature first. Now we're going to go through the north or the top hole, 4th hole. Okay, pull through, not all the way, don't lose the tail. And then the bottom, 4th hole. And this is very easy to do. It's actually more like tying off. And now back through the middle, 4th hole. And there we go. Now we're going to make sure that our threads, the loose threads, are one on either side, okay, underneath the bridge thread. They need to both be underneath the bridge thread, one on the left and one on the right. And they're going to wrap their arms around the bridge thread to lock it in. So if you tie your string left over right, right over left, and then left over right, you're going to have a nice locked square knot. And then I just throw in one more for good measure in case I forgot, or I was talking, or the dog barked, you know what I mean? So if you do at least 3 knots, you should be good no matter what way you do it. So there you go. There, and I leave those little tails there because I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I may hang a little bauble or a charm or something like that. And now I'm folding the inserted signature, this sewn on signature, with the bone folder, pushing it down to train the papers to lay nice and flat. That's a very important step to get your signatures to be really snug together and nice. So don't forget that step. And I'm just going to show you how it positions in there and showing you that it is fitting exactly where it's supposed to. There's book cover showing below, book cover showing above, a little book cover showing to the right and the left there. Everything's just dandy. Okay, now we're going to repeat that process 3 more times, but it's good to see because this is probably one of the most confusing parts of making a junk journal, is getting those signatures in there. So this is my signature number 3. I'm checking to make sure my orientation, oh, I got a loose piece of paper. I will just remove that now. In the center here, yes, my birdies are upright. I'm going to paper clip this down so everybody is clipped and in position. And I'm checking, I've got the holes already on the back. That's good. And then I'm going to fold it. Am I going to fold it back a little bit? Maybe not. Maybe I don't do it till the 3rd one. Look at me breaking my own rules. But as long as you hit the dot, you are fine. Okay? Okay, there we go. Now I'm folding it. It makes it so much easier to land on the dot because everything just kind of cascades down towards the dot this way. And then we go ahead and punch. It's actually a pretty easy punch, even though we're going through, I believe, 12 papers in these signatures, but it's no problem. Often with the last one, you have to pull it out and rotate it around. And this is where everybody loses their orientation. If you didn't mark what is your front upright face, which is where the paper clip is, that's my front face. I have to fold my pages back to the way they were. That's the front and that's the upper. There we go. So that is number 3. And I grab my hidden spine and we go again. We get the string and then we get the needle. And I will demonstrate now threading without that hooky thing, that loopy thing. See, it's so easy with this. And now we are going to go right in and sew this in right through the middle, hole number 3, top, hole number 3. Always double checking to make sure you're in hole number 3. Like, kind of ask yourself every time you're doing it, double check, because sometimes it will migrate and you'll end up going through number 2 and you have to take it all apart and do it again. That's another common thing people run into. And also watch you don't get this string hooked on the side of your pages. That's happened to me before, and you think it's tight, but it's not. It's loose, and what's going to happen is your signature is going to fall loose and come out of the journal, and it'll be all disaster pants, and you don't want that. No, I want your signatures to be nice and snug. Okay, so here we have our angel's wings. Spread them out evenly. You can adjust by pulling the middle bridge string, and make sure that your wings are on either side, like so. And I feel like a flight attendant right now. And then you will tie right over left, okay? And then, I can never remember which way I did it. I probably did 2 right over lefts there. And that's why I come in with the big save of another right over left. Yes, so it's actually better if you do the opposite, like right over left, left over right, makes a knot mighty and tight. Okay, there we go. And there, I'm training the papers. There we go, very nice. Everybody's aligning nicely. Okay, looking good. Looking good. Everybody's lined pretty. See, it all comes together very nicely doing that little trick. Keeps everybody in check. Okay, now we're going to do number 2. Same process. Birdies are in the correct orientation. And here we go. Where's that string? Where's that string, Pam? Oh, let's whack-a-mole it. Okay, here we go. Very handy. Grab your ruler and knock those papers back down to the spine. That's a very good way to keep your signatures tight and together, and everybody plays nicely. All right, here we go. Punch. Okay, and number 2 punch. And we got number 3 punch. Boom, I had to turn it around. Now, thank goodness I have my paper clip, so I know that's the front upper. I fold them back in the position that they should be for presentation purposes. And then we are threading the needle with ease, which is so lovely. Anytime you can remove an area of friction in your crafting, it's a big benefit to you because you'll enjoy the process more. I would remove an area of friction over perfection any day of the week, because if perfection stops me dead in my tracks, if I can't get something perfect and I don't carry on, then it's over. You know, the game is over. So yeah, I'm following number 2 there. Make sure you're in number 2 and nowhere else. And so yes, if you can let go of the need for perfection in crafting and just remove areas of friction, then the possibility of a lot more fun exists. And there you go. Here's a little secret. Okay, so snug. We're going to pull snug but not tight. Snug but not tight. You don't want tearing. You just want snug. Okay. All right. Make sure everybody's okay. There's right over left, left over right. Okay, I'm paying attention now. And I think right about now, the dishwasher guy has arrived, and there's going to be all sorts of mayhem, which you're not going to be able to hear now, which is probably a good thing, because it got a little noisy. There was puppy barking. There was strange man voice in the house, talking dishwasher talk while husband was trying to orient the guy towards what everything. He was like, here, the dishwasher's in the kitchen. Okay, Sonny, I think you just heard his name. And I thought that was so funny. Where else would the dishwasher be, my love? Okay, so there we have that. And now, whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole. And we are folding that back on ourselves. And we have the nice valley, so the paper punch can easily find its little mark. And remember, I'm looking at it from the side. So I'm not really, I know the camera looks like I'm looking down, but I'm actually, my head is down at the side, looking from the side to make sure that my paper punch goes on the dot. That's how I do that. Okay. And there we go. That's my front upper. I know that now. And now I fold it back upon itself the way it's supposed to be. Okay. Yep. There we go. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh, that might be when the dishwasher people have come. Yes, yes. That was when the mayhem started. Okay, that's okay. We'll just carry on like soldiers that we are. Here we go. Okay, so this is the last one. I have my string I have my needle, and I just wanted you guys to see the whole process. So if you want to make one with me, you can make one with me. And they don't take super long to make, but I think it's probably longer to like gather your supplies and your papers and things like that. That takes a little bit longer, but once you have the stuff, it doesn't take that long to assemble a journal. And especially if you get your rhythm down and you know some simple tips or tricks, and it's actually a very enjoyable process, and you'll find you'll want to make more journals because it is easier than you thought, and it is joyous to make books. So you know, spread the love. I mean, let other people know how to make books, teach them how to make books. It's a grand thing. We should all make books at least once in our lives and spread the word, and everybody can, you know, have a lot of beautiful things to you know, have in their worlds. Okay, there we go. Snug, not tight, but snug. And now I will demonstrate the ever so wonderful right over left. Let's see if I can do this now. And there we go, the left over right. It's always a little tricky with the strings. I can't even really tell what way I'm doing it there. Probably going to goof it up. I don't even know. So I'm going to now cast my third one just to be absolutely sure I'm locked in, because something always happens when I'm tying those knots. There's always a momentary crisis going on in the house, whatever it is. You know, life gets in the way of crafting, always. And okay, so here is the last one, training the papers on the last one. Okay, there we go. Oh, that must have been a dishwasher interruption. And fold it, there we go. Okay. Yes. That's what it looks like. Okay, you can see that is pretty much all that shows of your hidden spine, that little edge. You see that? So it's gilded, it's got a little bit of stenciling on it. It's very pretty. Not much more than that shows. The back is not going to show at all. There's a little bit in the back that shows. Whoop, there we go. A little bit in the back that shows as well, about the same amount of that little sliver. Okay, and then you've got all. This is what it looks like. That's what your book will look like with closed cover. Okay, so you can kind of see. This is a great number of pages and number of signatures for a writing journal or a decorating journal. Now, if you decorate it, the book will expand like this. If you've seen any of my Chunky Monkey journals, they expand like this. So you can decide how many pages and how many signatures you want to put in a book. But this rough surface will attach to that rough surface. Okay, and there we go. It's nice and rough, and it's going to fit beautifully in there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to slap some glue on there. And we're going to use Fabrifix Glue. If you've never seen Fabrifix Glue, it's a clear silicone glue. I put it in a sugar icing piping bottle to get a thin stream of it, but the regular bottle comes like this. It's fabric to fabric, fabric to paper, or paper to paper. It does really well. You can also use Fabri-Tac or a Beacon 3-in-1 glue, or those are the ones that I've worked with before, and they all seem to work the same for me in this particular situation. So you can, we're going to go ahead and slather now. Now, normally when I'm making embellishments and things like that, I don't use heavy amounts of glue. A little goes a long way, but in this particular circumstances, you do want to use a lot of glue. You want to be generous, not to the point where it's oozing over the edges, but you definitely want to come along and cover as much of the surface area as possible, because you want a very, very strong hold here. And I'm going to show you up close exactly how much glue I'm using, but this does really help. And I can hear my neighbor next door doing something with water outside. I have my window open. It's such a nice day here. And okay, let me show you. That's about how much glue I have there. Okay, so there's a lot, but it's not like overly saturated, but it's well distributed. And you do not need to finger smoosh this, because there's nothing to bleed through here. It's just the way it is. You're double checking your orientation to make sure that the writing is in the direction you want. You're double checking the front cover to make sure it's in the right orientation. And then you're going to place this down. And because we have a lot of glue there, you're going to have a few seconds to reorient the position. Okay, now I have a lawnmower going by, and I'm just going to see if I can close my window. Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, we're good. We're back. Okay. So now I have some loose strings here from the ties. You can just pull all those down. That's okay. I got stuck on one there. So that's the bottom of my book. Here's what it looks like. Now the book is inside the cover. That's this chosen style. You don't have to do them that way, but if that's the way a regular book might look, they're all inside the cover a little bit recessed. So that's what we got. That's what we got. We got a little, there's one little signature there that's dipping down a little bit, but it's, overall, I would say it's pretty good. Yeah. And it's probably because I wiggled when I was trimming or cutting or something. But the more stationary and stable you keep everything while you're trimming and cutting, the better your signatures will align. Now, it's a good idea to open up your signatures, and where there's the signatures separate from each other, go in and push that down. Yeah, push that down into the material, pushing that hidden spine into the fabric behind it. That's going to create better adherence. It's going to stick better. Yeah. There we go. Very nice. Okay, so now we have all that. Now you want to let this puppy rest. Yeah. Use gravity. Okay, now we have a beautiful spine that is not interrupted by suture marks because we wanted to preserve that. And I would say let it sit overnight. It's going to have a very strong hold. It's probably going to be fine in about an hour, but if you let it sit overnight, there's no question. And if you have a bulldog clamp, you can come along and do this. I think I come along and actually change it to 2 bulldog clamps because I didn't like the way the book was bowing, and I didn't want to leave a mark because the book will adhere the way it sits right now. You want to look to make sure that hidden cardboard spine is flush against the material in the back. You don't want there to be any gap there. So make sure that you push that down, push down. And then go ahead and grab yourself another bulldog clamp because you're uneasy about the bowing of the cover. I didn't want to mar the cover on this because some of these old covers are fragile as well, and you have to be gentle with them. Okay. And what else do we have here? Okay, here I'm coming up with the bulldog clip number 2. And there we go. And now you can just store that like that. You can lay it down, but I would recommend leaving it in the orientation we had before, leaning on its spine, because that way gravity will work to also adhere the hidden spine to the cover spine. There, that's a better position. And if you don't have bulldog clips, you can just sandwich the book between 2 larger items so that it doesn't fall over, and that will also allow the same process to happen. It will get very strong and stay in there, and life will be grand, and you will be off making your second journal. Okay, so let's see. We are, I'm probably telling you about, thank you for everybody who has been here. And my videos come out Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. No, I'm not talking about that yet. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. Well, I will just cover you with this part. I have a podcast which comes out Tuesdays and Thursdays. That was a sanding block. Yes. Oh, I was showing you options. That's right. You don't have to measure. You can eyeball a lot of things. If you don't want to cut, you can use the sanding block to soften the edges on the hidden spine. If you want, you still have to cut it. But you can also, instead of using you can sandwich it between 2 tall objects, and that will also hold your book in place until you come back the next morning and you want to do things with it. Also, if you don't have a Crocodile 2 Big Bite paper punch, you can use the awl, the ice pick, or a big needle. And if you don't have the Tyvek tape to cover the inside of the spine, you can use masking tape, duct tape, or fabric in a pinch. Okay. And then if you haven't signed up for my free monthly email newsletter, oh heck, what are you waiting for? You get a free digital image along with a checklist of supplies, a note from the bookmaker which explains what a junk journal is and how to use it, and you get junk journal tips, updates from me, and a peek of my new DigiKits that are coming out, which are printable downloads. And you can use those to cut up and put in your junk journals. They're a lot of fun. You can use them for pockets and tucks and bookmarks and journal cards and journal tags and all sorts of fun stuff. Make flips out of them, envelopes, all sorts of stuff. And you can collage with them. And if you don't have a printer, I have a print and mail service. I will print out 10 digikits for you on some beautiful lightweight cardstock, and I will bundle them up and mail them to you, priority mail included. And all you do is purchase the print and mail option. You send me a list of the 10 digikits that you want. You can send that list to pam@thepaperaoutpost.com. That's my email address. Or you can send that list through Etsy message. And I also I have an Etsy shop where I sell my vintage digikits along with FUNDLEs. And FUNDLEs are beautiful collections of old papers, antique papers, old ledger, old postcards, old checks, receipts, all sorts of very interesting old papers, along with very interesting and amazing book pages of all different types, and also beautiful hand-dyed papers as well. So you're going to have a nice collection to make all sorts of junk journals with. And it comes in a pack of 100 pieces, and I bundle those up and I mail those to you, priority mail shipping included. And I have an Amazon shop. So I have 3 sections now in my Amazon shop. I have my favorite tools and supplies. I also have a new book section if you're looking for interesting books for junk journalers. If to make okay, I think my my video just ended. Okay, there we go. Take care, everybody. Love y'all. Bye.